Warning, these arrows penetrate like crazy.
To get that kind of accuracy out of a high-performance arrow like the VAP, the Victory Armor Piercing Arrow, it's real important from step one, make sure you cut your arrows correctly and get the penetrator point adapter in correctly. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that all the way through all the different steps. Super important to use real high quality tools. We've been using the Easton Pro Shop series saw for years. We cut thousands of arrows. It comes preset from the factory, so everything's in alignment. You're going to get a perfect cut out of this particular unit. Nice, clean, even swirl when you put it on there so that you're not jacking them in too fast. This is really important to have this cut clean. There's 3 different grades that you can buy the VAP arrows in. You can get the V1s, which are plus or minus 0.001, the 3s, which are plus or minus 0.003, and the 6s, 0.006. I always use the 1s, and about 95% of the time with the 1s, you're going to get with a good clean cut and putting your adapter in. They're almost always really, really straight. Now, I'm going to show some of the extra details because if you're using 3s or 6s, sometimes the adapters, you'll have to spin them around to where you get on the right point where they both line up straight. I use the G5 arrow squaring device, and what it does is basically your shaft fits into these grooves, and you've got a little abrasive part of the actual device here that for one's kind of for carbon arrows, and you can spin it around for aluminum inserts. So you put your shaft in here and you just spin it, rotate it, put pressure towards the front of the arrow. And what that does is it would take off any burr and make that a real even, straight, perfectly flush surface. Okay, the next thing you would do is I like to be able to put them on a spinner. We've got this nice spinner here so you can see whether the point's spinning correctly or not. Now we're going to go into the prepping part of the shaft to glue the insert in, penetrator insert. Real important to clean the inside of the shaft with denatured alcohol is one of my favorite. You can also use isopropyl alcohol, which is what I'm going to use today. It's going to clean the inside, so you're going to get a really good bond with the glue. We're going to go over the different types of glue that work really well, one in particular. And use a Q-tip. You kind of have to get the tip kind of smashed down so that it'll go in there small enough, and then you just swirl it around and get it clean in there. That's going to give you a really good bond. These things penetrate so well that we've had some problems with guys using the incorrect, either not cleaning it or using the wrong kind of glue, so I'm going to go over the glue that works best too. They penetrate through the hay bales. Guys are sticking them in rubber mats, maybe loosen some of the penetrator inserts. So it's important to get that correct, and that's one of the steps that we wanted to show in this instruction. So clean it with the alcohol. Goat Tough is a really good, they have this GT Impact glue, which is a good choice. It actually takes it's kind of rubberized, so it takes some of the hit and absorption of a really hard impact, and it won't break loose near as easy, and you can still heat up. If you do bend one of the inserts, now in these penetrator inserts, you do have an inch of aluminum, you're shooting high speeds, penetrating well. If you don't use a good target, sometimes you're going to smash into something that would normally ruin a normal arrow and flare out the front of it. The actual penetrator insert will take the energy and bend sometimes. So if you use the correct glue, you can actually heat up the insert. I usually like to put a field point in it, heat it up until it breaks loose, take it out without ruining your shaft. These VAP shafts are super strong, and you put in a new adapter for around $2, so you don't ruin like a $15 arrow. So it's actually kind of a good feature. If that thing does bend, you don't smoke the whole arrow. Goat Tough GT glue works well for that. We also have a new glue that we formulated from Victory. It's called the Death Grip glue, and that's what I'm going to be using today. It's their prototype stage as far as the packaging right now, so I'm using this. But same type of principle, special formula we've developed for these inserts to make sure you have good performance without losing them. We're going to do the spin test now. I use the shuttle T-locks. So one thing about that particular point is that it's spun test, it's really straight. Some of your field points necessarily will be. What you do is you spin it around, and like I said, on these V1s, a lot of times you're going to get a really straight alignment on a high percentage of them. If you do have a problem, you can just rotate it around. If you can see a little wobble, rotate it around until you actually get the alignment that you like. And if you want to line up your broadhead blade with your vanes, this is a good way to do it. I'm getting, pretty much everywhere I'm getting a perfect one on this one. So what you do is, if they are not coming out straight and when you do rotate it, you get a spot where it is straight, then what you do is just take a pencil and just make a straight line right across the shaft to the penetrator adapter. And then when we put the glue in, you can line those two up and you're going to have that alignment again. Now that we've glued the penetrator insert in, to make sure you got even glue bond, if you want to be real detail oriented, it's not a bad idea to spin it again. You see, we did it properly. The glue's real even. High tolerances on these products makes it spin really good most of the time. There you go. Ready to go out and kill something big now.